Call 312-664-6649 or go to freeirsbook.com.
Get the best sleep of your life. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their holiday sale.
7:37 in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Inbound Kennedy traffic is heavy from Canfield most of the way downtown. It's 45 minutes from O'Hare to downtown, 26 from Montrose, 20 in the express lanes. Outbound 31 minutes downtown to the airport. Edens, 20 minutes Lake Cook to the junction. Eisenhower looking at 52 minutes, 390 to downtown, 39 from Wolf. Outbound 33 minutes to 390. Northbound I-55 stuffed up 126 to 53 with a wreck in the left lane. And the Stevenson is 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Bryan 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 26 minutes, 90 to the merge. Mission 422. Northbound Tri-State delays start around the 83rd Street toll. And that's traffic. I'm Jim Calamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, cloudy and 35. In Chicago, 25 degrees, officially at O'Hare, 19 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and President had quite a morning yesterday from the National Prayer Breakfast, where he took less than subtle shots at both Nancy Pelosi and Mitt Romney, to the White House acquittal party, where he did the same, but also made some salient points about the process and the implications of the process just concluded for this country. He said something, too, important about the Democrats.
You know, all my life I wasn't in politics, but I'd say if you're a politician, you want to say, we're going to lower taxes. They want to raise taxes. So they have open borders, sanctuary cities, raise everybody's taxes, get rid of everybody's health care, 180 million people in the United States, and they're really happy. And we're going to give you a health care that's going to cost more money than the country could make in 30 years if it really does well. That's 1 year. So I've always said they're lousy politicians, but they do two things. They're vicious and mean. Vicious. These people are vicious. Adam Schiff is a vicious, horrible person. Nancy Pelosi is a horrible person. And she wanted to impeach a long time ago when she said, I pray for the president. I pray for the president. She doesn't pray. She may pray, but she prays for the opposite. But I doubt she prays at all. And these are vicious people. But they do two things. They stick together. Historically, I'm not talking now. They stick together like glue. That's how they impeached, because they had whatever the number is, 220 people. So if they don't lose anybody, they'll be able to impeach anybody. You could be George Washington. You could have just won the war, and they say, let's get him out of office. And they stuck together, and they're vicious as hell. And they'll probably come back for more.
And they probably will. But here's the thing. This time around, Republicans stuck together, too, with the exception of Mitt Romney. But generally speaking, and particularly in the House, and President Trump recognized Kevin McCarthy, who he thinks will be Speaker McCarthy come January, because of the performance during this proceeding.
And speaking of the Speaker, Dan, she said yesterday she does pray. She did not take kindly to what President Trump said.
He can say whatever he wants.
Yeah, I know.
He can say whatever he wants, but I do pray for him, and I do so sincerely and without anguish. You know, gently, just the way I pray for everybody else. I thought what he said about Senator Romney was particularly without class.
Oh, God. It's just nice to see her rally for Mitt Romney. It's very nice. Those two kids can come together. So she doesn't hate anybody. She's very prayerful and reflective, as this whole process was.
Yes.
I mean, forget the celebration, forget the golden pens and the silver platters, forget the photo ops, forget the merchandising. It was a somber, prayerful, regrettable that they had to put this country. It's in anybody's heart, and I don't get into that business. But I do listen to what people say and compare it to what they do. And that is not a comparison that is particularly favorable to either Nancy Pelosi or her pal, Mitt Romney. For more on impeachment and a couple of other matters, we're pleased to be joined by Bryan Steil, Congressman from Wisconsin's 1st Congressional District, just north of the Cheese Curtain. He is the man who replaced Paul Ryan in Congress. Bryan, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
So what about this? So what's the takeaway among House Republicans, you and your colleagues, after this has now been put to bed, at least for the time being, and the president's comments about the rank unfairness of the process and the dangerous precedent that was set by House and Senate Democrats?
Yeah, I mean, Speaker Pelosi can stand up there at the State of the Union and try to tear apart a speech, but she can't rip up the successes that President Trump has been delivering for our country, the economic success, strengthening the military. Standing in the hall during the State of the Union, I thought Trump gave a great speech honoring a number of, terrific American stories. And then you end with the end of Nancy Pelosi tearing up the speech. It just juxtaposes the difference of the economic successes and wins that we're having on our side and the frustration that continues to bubble on the left.
Well, what was it like being there, though, live when she ripped things up? What were people around you saying, and what was the feel?
Right at the end of the speech, there's kind of, it's hard to almost see anything on the floor. Everybody's getting up and moving out. And so I didn't actually see her rip it up until a couple minutes after, when I went back and looked at the tape, and people were saying that she tore the speech. But the entire State of the Union, and you can probably see it on TV, she was just staring at that sheet of paper as if she was going to find something in there that she didn't like. But instead, the president continued to put forward his story of what we've done in the past 3 years to turn our country around. And you could just tell that entire speech. She was frustrated. I thought across the board, Republicans agree. It was a terrific speech by the president.
Isn't it time for the Democrats to come up with a new fashion statement than that suffragette thing that they're doing? Is anybody,
it's so insufferable.
you and your colleagues, just spitballing different things they can do if they want to offer some sort of visible protest?
I mean, my hope is we come back next Congress and there's fewer of them, and that we have the speaker's gavel. That, to me, would be the ultimate turn on this. They can wear whatever they want. I just want to make sure that we win back the House and turn this country around.
And is it the belief, as President Trump said yesterday, that the impeachment, number one, didn't really hurt President Trump, and number two, it may actually help a lot of swing district races for Republicans come the fall?
I think time and again when I talk to folks at home, people just look at the partisanship in Washington run by Nancy Pelosi and just roll their eyes. I did 5 listening sessions across southeast Wisconsin, just north of the Wisconsin-Illinois border is my district, Janesville over to Kenosha and up towards Milwaukee. 5 listening sessions, hundreds and hundreds of people, dozens and dozens of questions. I got one question about impeachment. The American people are focused in on the real problems, right? The rising cost of health care. They're focused in on, are we strengthening our military? Are we protecting Social Security and Medicare? And I think watching the Democrats travel down this path on a partisan impeachment process just has a lot of folks rolling their eyes and realizing that there's not a lot of solutions being answered by Nancy Pelosi and the left in the successes that we're getting with President Donald Trump.
Now, your district is, in some respects, sort of a bellwether. Not maybe overall, but certain portions of your district, you got trades guys, blue collar folks, the blue collar boom that President Trump talked about in his State of the Union speech. How are those, somewhat swing voters in your district? What are they saying about President Trump? How do you read their attitudes and look at how that will impact Wisconsin, how that will impact the 2020 race?
Great question. That the district runs that I-94 corridor from the state line up towards the Milwaukee airport. And if you've ever had the opportunity to drive that, what you see is an absolute building boom from businesses that are putting up shop in Wisconsin along that corridor, putting up help wanted signs. We're starting to see the beginning of rising wages. You referenced the trades workers. these men and women are having work to do. I mean, they're building buildings. They're, installing all of the infrastructure that's required for these new buildings that are coming in. That's a direct result of the economic policies put in place by this administration. And, you can argue with, all sorts of stuff, but it's hard to argue with the economic success when it's that tangible along that I-94 corridor from the Kenosha area up towards Milwaukee. And people are excited. They're seeing jobs. They're seeing the beginning of raising wages. They don't want to take a step back. They want to take a step forward. And that's what this election is going to be about in November.
Now, quickly back to impeachment. When Bill Clinton was acquitted, he spoke for a minute and a half. He apologized. He thanked those who helped him. Yesterday, President Trump spoke for 62 minutes. And did you think it was more of a celebration, or what did you take from that hour, 2-minute speech?
Yeah, well, I look at it, right. The president's just been bombarded by the left for really the last 3 years. And they went all the way down this path and ultimately rallied up the Democratic votes in the House on the impeachment. And he was finally vindicated by the United States Senate. And so I think it's appropriate for the president to come out and almost take a victory lap and do that and talk about things like he did in the State of the Union, where, it's right. He should take a victory lap on USMCA, on the trade agreements we're getting done, on the unemployment rate across the board, but in particular for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, some of the lowest rates we've seen in 70 years for women. I think it's appropriate for the president to take a victory lap and tout some of the successes that we're seeing across our nation.
Now, on a sort of a more local, parochial level, over the last decade, about 120,000 Illinoisans have left this state for your state. They've fled north of the Cheddar Curtain, and and a lot of them are settling in your district. And I wonder how things are going. Since you're right there on the border, how you understand things are going, and what you're hearing from constituents, including new constituents, in terms of sort of quality of life at the particular price point. Economic opportunities, Foxconn and these other campuses on that corridor that you were describing. Do a little compare and contrast for us from a Wisconsin perspective.
Yeah, the Bears-Packers games at the bars are getting a little rowdier now as more people from Illinois flee the economic problems that Illinois has and comes to Wisconsin, which has a budget that's balanced. The debate in the Wisconsin State House right now is what to do with the hundreds of millions of excess revenue, tax cuts or more spending. That's our debate. Very different than the Illinois debate, and that's really from 8 years of Governor Walker turning the state of Wisconsin around. That we're in that position to have that discussion. We're getting homes are getting built on the Wisconsin side of the border as people are coming north, but there's plenty of jobs, as you noted. Foxconn is coming. Herringbow, which is the gummy bear maker, is about to open a new facility in Pleasant Prairie just across the border. And then we have longstanding companies in Wisconsin that are expanding, that are feeling confident about the economy. And I talked to those job creators, and they like what they're seeing in the policies from Washington. They're feeling confident in their ability to grow. And I encourage more people to move north across the line and take advantage of the economic situation that we have in Wisconsin and the balanced budget, thanks in large part to 8 years of Republican leadership and Governor Scott Walker's leadership in the state of Wisconsin.
And how are you feeling about Wisconsin in terms of being a swing state in 2020? Is President Trump going to be able to hold on to Wisconsin?
We are going to be ground zero. There's a reason that the National Democrats put their convention downtown Milwaukee, and it's not because Bill Clinton would rather bar hop downtown Milwaukee than maybe Miami Beach. They put their convention in Milwaukee because they know they need to win the state of Wisconsin to defeat President Trump, and we're not going to let it happen. I think the critical aspect here is to make sure that we're out telling our story about the economic successes that we're seeing, and that's where I spend a lot of my time. I'll be flying home tonight and speaking to a Republican Lincoln Day dinner downtown Milwaukee tonight. I'll be out in Waukesha County tomorrow, telling the story of the success that we're seeing and tying it back to the policies that were put in place that gave rise to the success that we're seeing. That's the real key to make sure that we get people to understand the connection between the economic success with the policies that were put in place, and then tell them how imperative it is that come November, every single person that is happy with the direction of the country, that every single person that understands what low unemployment rates mean, come out and vote and reelect the president.
All right. Real quickly, Congressman, before we let you go, Wisconsin has your first confirmed case of coronavirus. Your Wisconsin DHS is testing 4 more possible people. Are you confident that we are doing all we can, that the government's doing all that they can to protect the people of not only Wisconsin but United States?
Yeah, I've been in contact with government officials. I feel like we're in a good spot, but you've got to be vigilant. It looks like we're going to have the opportunity to take testing from a centralized CDC and localize it. So this case in Wisconsin was at the University of Wisconsin Hospital. The individual came in. There's a handful of other people that are being observed right now. We're going to need to remain to be vigilant. What we're seeing going on in China is a really serious situation for the country of China. I think the president's taken appropriate action to make sure that we're protecting us, and we're going to have to continue to be vigilant and make sure that our national health services have all the resources they need to make sure that this doesn't get to the extent it is in China, that doesn't come here to the United States.
Yeah, all right. You can climb back in your bubble now, Amy.
Put my gloves on.
He is Congressman Bryan Steil. He's U.S. Representative from Wisconsin's 1st Congressional District, right over the border, Kenosha, Janesville area, as he said. Representative Steil, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
We're all aware of national dealers that sell gold and silver. But national dealers? It sounds so impersonal and far away. Guess what? Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is a national dealer, and they're right here in our backyard. With Fox Valley Coins close by, you won't have to relinquish your personal information and money through the mail and hope that you receive what you ordered in the next days, weeks, or months. Most of the time at Fox Valley Coins, you just walk in the store, pick out what you want, pay for it, and walk out the door. It can be that easy. And if you're interested in selling your rare collector coins or currency, Fox Valley Coins specialize in the rare ones. Buying and selling individual coins and currency, as well as all gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and rhodium in coin bar